On today's question of faith, is it true that there's a summer softball league in the diocese? Hey everybody, I'm Mike Hayes. This is Question of Faith. I am the Director of Young Adult Ministry of the Diocese of Cleveland.
And I am Father Damian Ferentz, the Vicar for Evangelization, formerly a high school catcher.
I am Maria Wancata, Marriage and Family Ministry Specialist, a former high school second baseman.
And I am a former high school first baseman, outfielder, and designated hitter.
But a right-hander. Are
left-
you? I'm seeing you hold your pen. Your right.
So
hand.
that's interesting you should say that. So I bat left-handed, but I throw right-handed.
Me too.
Well, there you go. See?
You guys are weird.
I knew you were a sister.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Now,
good.
Are you righty-righty?
Oh yeah, all the way through. I am not ambidextrous at all. I am all dexter. Dexter, sinister.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Right is dexter, left is sinister. That's why a lot of times, biblically speaking, they said the left hand is the bad hand, it's the sinister, the bad hand.
Yes.
And then if you could use both hands, you're ambidextrous. So it's like two right hands.
Right, yeah.
Which is interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It was when I was a kid in kindergarten, of all things, my teacher walked around the classroom and was like saying, hey, pick your hand up while we were writing, and she would write down whether we were right or left-handed. Mm-hmm. So she came around to me, and I was writing with my right hand, and she said, okay, pick your hand up. She said, okay, right-handed. And then about an hour later, she's coming back around, and she said, and she's looking at me very strangely, and I noticed that she was looking at me strangely. I can't believe I remember all this. And she was like, she goes back to her book, and she looks in her book, and she goes, Michael? And I says, yeah. And she said, why are you writing with your left hand? I was like, because my right hand got tired. Like, it seemed really obvious to me, right? And she said, no, pick a hand and stick with it. By the way, this is a public school, not a Catholic school. Just want to say that for the record. And so I stopped using my left hand for writing because my teacher told me to, and my pediatrician went nuts. I mean, he was so upset. He was like, are you kidding me? Why'd you stop him from doing that?
Yeah, you could have been a pitcher.
I could have. I could have done a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I still do kind of use both hands equally. Like, if I'm on the phone, it's usually with my left hand. There's a lot of I do some things with my left hand.
My brother's left-handed. Father Kevin Klinowski is left-handed.
Yes, he is.
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed?
I'm left-handed, but I do a lot of things right-handed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right.
Like I open jars left-handed, but I shoot pool right-handed.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
interesting. Huh. Well, not what we were talking about, but interesting nonetheless.
It's related, though. It's related
Yeah.
because, we've talked before how baseball is the most Catholic of sports, and closely related to baseball is softball,
Sure.
right? And is the rumor true that there is a diocesan young adult Catholic softball league starting this summer?
That is starting. It'll begin on June 26th, run through all of July.
Wow.
And we're going to skip the first week in August because of the fest. Because we're playing, and these are all on Sundays. And out the Meyer Field out in Seven Hills.
Nice.
And then the practices will be at John Bosco, actually.
Oh, yeah, they've got a nice ball field there.
Yeah.
A lot of property.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. And then we'll have a championship Sunday on August 13th. So that'll be great.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so it's a co-ed league, slow pitch.
How many teams? Do you know yet?
Not yet, but we're probably close to 6 or 8.
Are they named after saints or something? Or
that'll be up to the teams as they construct, but they're still constructing. So we just have, the teams are, it's mostly the young adult groups themselves are doing, like, so St. Hilary's out in Akron has a team, which I think someone named Wancata might be playing on. And then...
with Krista?
Alberta, yep. And she constructed a team very quickly, I have to say. And there's a guy on the team named, I don't know this guy at all, I'm going to mention his name, Raleigh Shank. Isn't that a great name?
Yeah, he sounds like a
relief
ringer.
pitcher.
Yeah. Raleigh Fingers.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I was like, Raleigh Shank, that is a great name. And she said his name suits his personality also. So she said he was like one of the people who really helped her get a group of people together. The Ite Project's trying to get a team together. Catching Fire may have 2 teams. They've got a bunch of people. West Side folks at St. Chris's and around that environment that they're gonna have a team. The Grapevine guys and Quo Vadis are getting together for a team. And then 77 Counting, which is also out in Parma, another young adult group, they have a team right now. And then there'll be an East Side team, but they're still constructing. So
cool. Yeah, well, we were talking, in addition to this softball league, we're going to be having 4 Ballpark Masses this summer.
Woohoo.
The first will be at Captain Stadium. The second will be at League Park. The third will be at Crusher Stadium. Then the fourth, we just booked this. So this will be June, July, August, and then September 10th down in Ashland County. If you've never been down there, you got to come. 5 p.m. Mass, be a cookout after. And we were batting around the idea in the office the other day about having a softball game after, maybe under the lights. And maybe it's the All-Stars of this young adult league, or maybe it's the championship team, and maybe we could put together a seminarian and maybe a few religious sisters team and have a big old party.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. Your husband was like really into
Oh,
that
yes,
idea, you said,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Phil?
So he watched, we watched the seminarians versus priests basketball
Oh, yeah,
game.
I was there, yeah.
And it was the best thing. He's like, if I could be a part of that, I want to be.
Now, your husband plays also. You played in high school.
I played in high
fast
school.
pitch, too.
At Beaumont?
Yeah. I was lead off, bunter, slap hitter, base stealer. I used my speed. And then once I graduated, I wasn't sure if I was going to play in college, but it was something my dad and I always did growing up. So we started a co-ed league after high school. And then after college, when I came back, that's how I met my husband playing on another team at Softball World.
Oh, Softball World.
So that's how I met my husband.
Wow.
Through softball.
Look at
Now,
So-
Mike, you may not know this since you're originally from New York, but Softball World was the bomb in the 80s and the 90s, and it's right off West 150th Street, and it was property that's still owned by the Holy Cross Cemetery.
Holy Cross, yeah.
But they hadn't used all that yet, so they built all these softball diamonds there, and it was hopping in the summers.
Yeah.
There were, lights all over everybody's playing. There was ice cream, popcorn. It was the
sounds
place
like
to
a
Well,
lot
I
of
be.
think
fun, yeah.
CYO used to use it because in grade school, it's
Yeah.
where we had our CYO,
Oh,
our
really?
grade school games out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I said earlier that I played high school baseball. I played left of the bench, and I would coach first base like when I wasn't playing, which was most of the time, because I knew how to keep the scorebook. So that they were like, okay, here, Hayes, you're never going to play, so here, just take this. And however, when I did get into the game, I usually got a hit. So like I didn't get many at bats, but when I got in, I did get on base most of the time.
That's
So-
important.
You remind me of the kid from Sandlot.
Yeah.
Who winds up being the announcer and
That's
calling the
right,
games.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He loved the game so well, and his buddy actually played Major League Ball, but it worked out for him.
Yeah.
And
Which is exactly how it all started for me. Is that I would sit on the bench and just call the game with my friends, and my friends all looked at me and said, "You're pretty good at this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah, no, think about that." And so then the next year, that was like my freshman year, and so the next year I approached one of the coaches and said, "Hey, do you need an announcer for football?" And they were like, "Yeah, we actually do." And I was like, "All right." So I did football and basketball, but then I played baseball in the baseball season.
Very
but
cool.
Still sort of announced because I was sitting on the bench, so that when my team was not batting, when we were in the field, that's what we would do.
So when will this league be solidified? And if we have some listeners who say, hey, we want to put a team together, is that still possible?
Yeah,
or what?
absolutely. Yeah. So June 2nd is the deadline for registration. We might extend that a little bit because we're noticing that people are away for Memorial Day weekend. They might need an extra week to get things together. So we might extend it by a week.
And what's a team, 12?
Yeah, 12 to 15. 12 is
Okay.
good, 15 is better.
And then does each team play every Sunday?
That is the plan. Yeah.
And what,
so from 1 to 5 p.m. we have the fields booked. So
okay.
we'll try and each game will be roughly an hour. So there'll be
5
4
innings?
games.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, roughly it'll
Okay.
be more of a timed game. So
And
yeah.
are you going to bring in umpires, or is it kind of self?
Just umpires for the championship, but it'll
Okay.
be self thing, and it'll be 3 strikes, no walks.
Oh.
So you can't walk, you can't intentionally walk anybody, but 3 swings or a called strike can happen. So the catcher's going to have to call balls and or strikes at least.
Cool.
I think it's going to be
The game will
fun.
move that way.
Yeah,
The game will move.
that's the idea. The idea is let's get this thing going. Let's move and fun being the operative word.
There might be some competitiveness.
Oh, it's fun to win. Winning is fun.
Yeah, exactly right. I say that all the time. But like, I didn't make a question like, do I play competitive softball or am I just doing this for fun? And we said this is how we know who the jerks will be. Like the ones who'll just be like, I play competitively. Blah,
the
blah, 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 blah,
ones of
blah.
us that selected competitive in the drop down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I said, okay, now we know who to watch out for. But I think you're right. I used to say it all the time, like when I would coach kids sports. They're like, parents are like, this is supposed to be fun, and I was like, yeah, winning is fun. Mm-hmm. You play to win the game.
And you learn a lot from losing, but no one likes losing.
Yeah, right.
It's part of
Who
life,
likes losing?
certainly.
Right.
But you play to win. You want to win.
Exactly.
You strive to push yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're gonna have food at this thing in September, you said, right? Well, at all the ballpark masses,
Yeah.
right?
So. Because the first ballpark mass is on Corpus Christi Sunday at Captain Stadium,
right.
And we've been pushing this out on social media. If you haven't registered, please do. 300 people already have.
Wow.
So there's going to be a Eucharistic procession from Justin Martyr in Eastlake down Psalm Center to the ballpark, and then Bishop Woost will be presiding at the mass, and then
Nice.
there'll be food after. So just register online. Even if you're not from Lake County, come on out. Maybe you can go to each one of these masses. Actually, our friend Kayla Gill is putting together some sort of memorial that if you go to all four masses, somehow these four takeaways, or what do you call them, little giveaways fit together to form one nice thing. So 4 ballpark masses this summer based on the gathered, blessed, broken, shared themes.
Oh, very nice.
And so we're gathering at Lake County Stadium. We'll be blessed because Fatima Center, right across from League Park, is celebrating 50 years. Out at Crusher Stadium, it's the Vigil Mass for the Feast of the Assumption, and Mary is the one who crushes, get it, the head of the snake, and so the serpent. So we're going to begin that before Mass starts. We'll pray the rosary. I think it's going to be a living rosary, which would be cool.
Oh, that's nice.
And then, so gathered, blessed, broken, crushed, broken, smashed, right? And then we go down to Ashland County, which is farm country in our diocese.
Yeah.
A lot of people have never been down there, but we have St. Edward's parishes in Ashland, and Ashland University has one of our most vibrant Newman ministries. And there's also a lot of corn down there. I've driven down there, so I'm hoping that we can get some corn and have a big old corn roast.
Very nice.
Probably some protein,
Field
too.
of Dreams.
Yeah.
vibe.
Oh.
There we go.
Maybe if there's a Catholic farmer listening in Ashland who wants to cut his field into a softball diamond. Well, no, because we've already rented Brookside Park in
Right.
Ashland. Yeah.
So probably not. Yeah. But
So-
good idea for next year.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, and so what do we think? We think that we should have a seminarian team. You said like we'll have probably the all-stars of our league is my guess, or the winning team.
Either the All-Stars or the winning team.
It's going to be based on availability, I think. You know, if
Yeah,
you
Right.
can make September 10th. September 10th to get down there.
Yeah, and some people have said, "Why isn't there a baseball game here?" Well, part of the reason is because we wanted to have a public display of our faith outside the church walls. By the way, I did get an email from someone saying, "Does this violate Canon Law?" Because there is a canon saying that Mass should normally be in a church, and I did bring it to both Bishop Malesic and Father Girianis, who's our judicial vicar, who said if that was the case, you would never be able to have military masses.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there's certain dispensations that are given. In this case, this is perfectly legit and in line with church teaching. And the bishop, who is the head liturgist of the diocese, has the right to say that these
Yes.
things can take place. So the same is true for the fest. The same will be true for our Mass on November 1st that we're having with all the high schools at Cleveland Public Auditorium. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's coming up too. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, the diocese is a buzz.
Absolutely.
So what's Maria? What's Marriage and Family going to do for these this ball game? Are you going to have a tent or something? I just threw this.
So no, we are. So one of them, the one at the end of July, is during NFP week. So we are hoping we're actually going to be sending out a survey in the next week on how all of our fertility awareness ambassadors, allies, users would like to gather this summer, especially during NFP week. So
very cool.
Yeah, more info should be coming. I think it's the Ballpark Mass at League Park.
Yeah, that's right.
July
28th.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, and League Park is, well, the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians, played there for a while, and Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run there.
Yep.
which is pretty
And
cool.
there's a really cool museum that they've built out of the old ticket booth next to the stands. If you haven't been in there, my wife is not a huge baseball fan. Like, she likes going to ball games, right? And good thing, because she married me, and who just loves going to ball games. And we walked in there, and we were in there for like 2 hours just looking around, and she was like off on her own, just looking at like there's a women in baseball exhibit, and there's the Jewish leagues that were around then. They had an exhibit on that, besides all the old Negro League stuff that's in there as well. It's really fascinating. I really enjoyed myself, and Marion did too. So fun for everybody.
Yeah, so the Mass is going to start at 7:30, but before there'll be a concert from a gospel choir at 7.
Nice.
And then after Mass, there will be a Eucharistic procession into the church, which is right across the street, St. Agnes, Our Lady of Fatima. And there'll be some great music and great prayer worship that night. So, yeah, come on out.
That's a great parish.
Really quickly, we're all fans of baseball. What's your favorite baseball movie?
Ooh.
For the Love of the Game.
That's a great one. I like that one. I'm torn because there's so many. So I'm gonna do 2. My favorite sort of serious baseball movie, Field of Dreams, and then my favorite fun baseball movie is absolutely Major League. A lot of cussing in that movie, but I still love it.
Yeah, and it's a Cleveland.
It's a Cleveland, yeah, Cleveland. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I like Major League also. Yeah, it's rated R for a reason. A lot of cussing. I like League of Their Own with Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And Madonna was in there.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And
Rosie O'Donnell.
And Gina Davis.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that, it's wonderful. When I was in Rome, one of my jobs for our house at the Casa Santa Maria was I was the culture capo. So part of my responsibility was putting on movie nights. And one month I did baseball films. So I showed Major League. I showed A League of Their Own. Sandlot's also really good too.
Yep.
I don't remember what the other one was, but yeah, baseball. I just love baseball.
There's a lot of baseball movies too, so there's a lot to choose from.
I'd say the other one is Angels in the Outfield.
Oh yeah, a lot of people like that one. Dan, you like the original one or the new Disney-fied one?
I think it was the Disney-fied one because I think this shows my age. It was when The Lion King came out, and they had a double feature of The Lion King and Angels in the Outfield. It was like a childhood memory that sticks out.
That's fun. A sad baseball movie is called Bang the Drum Slowly, about a ball player who had cancer. So it's somewhat depressing, but it was actually really well done. It was one of the early movies that Danny Aiello, who's sort of a famous actor, that he had done. So I enjoyed that one.
Do you remember Bad News Bears?
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to think of that too.
That was good. I remember watching that.
Yeah. Every time you hear the music, you think of it now too. It's kind of fun.
Oh, the other thing we could talk about really quick is that I think it was Christy put in an email just to be funny a couple lines for a bulletin announcement. To the tune of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and I'm like, Christy, just write a whole song, and then we'll just go back and forth and edit. So you may be hearing a song about these ballpark masses on Diocese and social media sooner than later. We'll see what happens, and maybe you can sing it and play it, and then maybe you'll get a free popcorn ball or something.
We could sing it on the podcast. Maybe as a round.
Well, Christy has a great voice.
She does. Yeah, she can sing. Yeah.
Really. I mean, a lot of people on our floor have a really good voice. You don't, Maria?
Don't ask me to sing.
No? Okay.
I can sing a little, as you know.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a great voice. I could hold a tune, but Sister Jane can sing.
Sister Jane can sing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Kayla Gill can sing.
And Debbie can sing.
Oh, Debbie can
Debbie
sing.
Morris can sing. Yeah.
Yeah. We got some singers.
We got some singers. It'll be good. But that's been a creative project. We've been sort of batting it around. I don't know if it's complete yet. But
it's still in the works, but that's part of the job of our floor. It's a lot of creatives there.
Exactly. A lot of creativity, a lot of collaboration. So you talked about St. Agnes, Our Lady of Fatima. So that's one of the churches that we're going to be going to for these ballpark masses. Tell me a little bit about that parish.
Well, it's one of the newer churches in the diocese, and it was combined, 2 parishes combined, and Father Bob Marva, who's now the provincial of the Capuchins, the church was built under his watch, and now Father James Watson, OFM Cap, is the pastor there.
Great guy.
Oh yeah, he's dynamite. It's a vibrant church. The music is awesome. It's one of our black parishes, African American parishes. What I really like about the church, in addition to its beauty, is that the statuary there and the imagery is mostly like African in nature,
Yeah,
African American in nature. So Jesus has black skin, and so do the saints. And they probably have the most beautiful nativity scene in the diocese that I've seen. So I like going there. I like the music. I like the people. I like the pastor. And now their former parochial vicar is now the pastor at Holy Spirit. So shout out to Father Dave Demansky, too, but he's now got a new job.
Absolutely, yeah. I have not been there for Mass. It's on my list to go there this summer for Mass because I've not been there for Mass yet, but I really want to. Some of my deacon classmates have been there, and they said that after Mass they usually have some kind of social gathering with food and everything, and they said, man, we ate really well. In fact, one of my colleagues was sitting next to someone, and she said, "You like that macaroni and cheese?" He goes, "Oh yeah, this is good." She goes, "Good, because I made it."
We did our staff retreat day out
Yeah, that's
there.
right.
So we did have Mass there, but it was with our little staff. It wasn't with the parish. And we were in, I forget what their space is called, but they have a wonderful gathering space for parishioners after.
Yeah, great place. And so we're at the Solemnity of the Most Holy Trinity for this coming Sunday. Hey, if you ever saw a 316 sign on a ball game, that's what the gospel is this week. So, for God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes him might not perish, but might have eternal life.
I think I'm going to be unpacking the Nicene, what's called the Nicene Constantinople Creed, the longer creed that we say after the homily, because its formula is Trinitarian. It starts with God the Father and then Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And even unpacking those lines that we say on autopilot every week, but not really thinking too much about them. So I think as in terms of preaching, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think. I just finished my Trinity Christology class, and we spent a lot of time on that, and especially the not begotten and all the controversy in the early church over that.
Yeah, exactly. Begotten, not made. Yeah. The Son was always there. It wasn't that he just showed up one day and then the Holy Spirit showed up a little while later.
Right.
No, they were all there all the time.
Yep.
So that's great. Yeah, because you don't want to fall into heresy on Trinity Sunday. Easy to do because the Trinity is hard, but hopefully you will not. So we hope that you've enjoyed our time. Hey, come out to our Ballpark Masses, and if you want to watch some softballs, Sundays in the end of June, beginning of July, and the final, the 13th of August. So we'll have all this and a whole lot more next time here on Question of Faith.